It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Friday's Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast. On this, the 15th day of March, 2024. Got several stories this morning, folks. The lead story today, Princess Royal visits new terminal in Scotland. It's especially for Mike and some of our friends on the other side of the pond. Spring break passengers warned. Also this morning, the damaged dock to remain closed until May. Galveston working on traffic flow. Carnival addresses security concerns for Amber Cove. A tragic incident on Tragic incident on Margaritaville Paradise, and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning, folks. Now, those of you that, are into history, beware of the Ides of March. That's what today is, the Ides of March. Many of you recognize the fact that that was the date of the assassination of Julius Caesar. It's also the day of settling debts back in those days. Now that's kind of interesting, the day of settling debts, and Julius Caesar gets whacked. In addition to that, folks, it's also National Pears Helene Day. I can dig that. I'm not a huge pear fan, but every now and then, that makes a nice little dessert, which I do on occasions. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. All the big guys, they have it. Just search for it. Travel and Cruise Industry News. If you are listening via a podcast, you can always go to the description of the podcast, and there's a link so you can jump over to the video feed if you would like to see any pictures or clips or interviews that we might be using on that day's show. Hi. Just a quick glance over here. Looks like Gary, older than dirt's with us. Hi, Gary. Cindy's here. Hot air time's here. Roger's with us. Good morning, Roger. Okay, so before we get to the news portion of today, folks, let me just remind you again about the Alaska cruise. It's on the Grand Princess, sails August 14th from Vancouver. Solo cabins start at $614. Double occupancy starts at $395 per person. You got to add taxes and port charges. That's $280. If you want the Princess Plus package, that's the drinks package, Wi-Fi, some specialty dining, some excursion. I don't know. There's a whole bunch. There's a whole list of things. Princess Plus is an additional $463. The solo and double occupancy for insides or ocean views are reasonably priced. The ocean views are like $100 more for the base price. That's $614 to $714, which isn't bad for an ocean view. The balconies, even though we're down to 2 balconies left on the entire ship. And both of those are for 2 people only. They're expensive, I think. But then that's my opinion. But anyway, sailed from Vancouver, a day at sea. We go to Ketchikan. Got all sorts of things that you can do in Ketchikan. Juneau, the same thing. Skagway, Glacier Bay for a day, College Fjord for a day, and you end up in Anchorage. When you're in Anchorage, you have 3 options. You can either jump on one of the land tours and take like 3 days up to Denali. You can go straight to the airport and fly out of Anchorage. Or you can do like Gary and I are going to do and ride the train down to get back into Anchorage and stay the night in Anchorage. I'm going to make Gary go to my favorite restaurant there in Anchorage, where they have my Elijah Craig and some good food too. So he doesn't know it yet, but that's where we're going for dinner when we get into Anchorage. So anyway, it'll be a lot of fun. Of course, Gretchen and Fred's going to be with us. So, and we still got some more people maybe are going to be with us. Don't know yet. All right. One other thing before I get to the news portion for the day. That's the wrong picture, of course. And that is the spring celebration for Will Power Chairs. I use that picture not because I'm egotistical and showing a picture of myself, because it shows the picture of the chair. Now, the way the sale works, the Will Spring Celebration for the entire month of March, if you purchase a Model F, that's the smaller one that folds up, or a Model C2, that's the one that I use. It's a lot sturdier, a lot heavier. I'm much more comfortable in that. Plus, I don't fit in the Model F. I do in the C2. But anyway, if you purchase either one of those scooters during the month of March, you're going to get $250 for accessories. Not a bad deal. Now, if you go to the website or call them and you tell them you're interested in a chair, code Chillie, CHILLIE, code Chillie. Not only will you get a discount on the chair, but you're also going to get the $250 for accessories. That's Will Power Chairs and Scoot Around for the month of March. The spring sale. All right, guys, the top story today, lead story, whatever you want to call it, comes from the other side of the pond. The Princess Royal, which is Princess Anne, that's her title, Princess Royal, received a warm welcome from local officials, community volunteers, maritime and tourism sectors during her visit to the Greenock Ocean Terminal Visitor Center yesterday. The visit comes 6 months after the terminal's official opening and just ahead of the busy cruise season that's getting ready to start. The season there runs from April till September, and Greenock's cruise season will see around 44 ship visits, from the smallest cruise ships around to some of the biggest, like the Celebrity Apex, Regal Princess, Queen Mary II, and the Carnival Legend. The Terminal Visitor Center at the entrance of the River Clyde, and close to Scotland's largest city, Glasgow, is the newest cruise terminal in Scotland. €20.1 million development project has been developed to significantly increase visitor numbers to around 150,000 per year and provide £26 million to boost the Scottish economy. Featuring an arrival departure hall, a museum, visitor center, and an art gallery, the terminal serves as a gateway for cruise guests and cultural hub celebrating local heritage. Accompanied by the Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence, the Princess enjoyed a special reception aboard MV Hebridean Princess, a vessel celebrating its 60th anniversary, before she toured the new facilities. The Princess Royal presence underscored the importance of the terminal to Scotland's tourism industry and a collaborative effort that brought the project to fruition. Congratulations to the guys over there in Scotland. I hope one of these days to get there on a cruise, which unfortunately I haven't done yet. So, on the bucket list. All right, I'll be back with a couple more news stories after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. The next story this morning, folks, comes from our friends at Carnival. Everybody was giving me a hard time about booking a Carnival cruise yesterday that was going to go on a drunken brawl kind of cruise. Yeah, no. Carnival Cruise Line has issued a letter to guests about the behavior ahead of their busy spring break cruise season. The do's and don'ts of alcohol, smoking, and Bluetooth were offered, as well as some hints: supervising children under your care, keeping hallway noise to a minimum, following proper cues, familiarize yourself with Carnival's code of conduct, make sure the group you're traveling with knows the code of conduct as well. No using speakers or radios, including wireless, Bluetooth, or portable versions. They'll be confiscated if you bring them, since they interfere with people's ability to hear public announcements. Using earphones while listening to music or watching shows in public areas is a must, and not reserving seats and for sun loungers. They are strictly on a first come, first serve basis. So I think Carnival is going to crack down a little bit on the college kids. Well, some of them are probably younger than college kids for the spring break season. All right. The next story today, folks, comes from down in Jamaica. Last month, you recall that strong winds and waves pushed the Carnival Magic onto the dock at Ocho Rios. While no one was injured, the pier fender collapsed under the ship's weight. On-site teams reported that the damage was extensive, requiring several weeks to fix. The Port Authority of Ocho Rios has reported to MSC Cruises that the berth 2 dock will remain closed until at least May. Many of the MSC cruises go into Ocho Rios, and they have been shuffling, changing the itineraries to take in a couple other ports in Jamaica. So they're working on it, but it's nowhere near done. All right, the other thing that's become a bit of a problem with the tremendous growth in the port of Galveston, that they are now taking steps to ease the flow of traffic and that's automobile traffic and truck traffic, folks, not ship traffic, to and from its busy cruise terminal, make it easier for cruisers to access the port, park their cars, and make their way to the terminal. Now, I specifically was interested in this because I wanted to see how, if I drive to Galveston to sail out of Galveston, what I'm going to have to go through. Galveston Port's now the 4th busiest in the U.S. in terms of cruise arrival, and it's seen significant expansion in recent years. It's building its 4th cruise terminal. Port officials continually look for ways to improve access, traffic flow, provision, delivery, parking, and other key processes. The Galveston Wharves, the location of 3 cruise terminals in the Texas Gulf Coast city, officials are set to expand use of the best practices at the newest terminal, Cruise Terminal 10, to its older terminals, Terminal 25 and 28. Now, when I was there, I sailed out of 28. So, and it was a little dicey. I drove to Galveston, but I left my car in the hotel I stayed at the night before, and I was able to take the shuttle over. That was before I traveled with a chair. I took the shuttle over. I got my scooter there at the port and went on from there. That was before the chair times. That'll be different next time I go, in all probability. Galveston Wharves Port Director and CEO Roger Rees pointed to several big changes the port will make to Terminals 25 and 28 and implement at Terminal 16, which is under construction and slated to open in late 2025. That would be the MSC terminal. First, the Cruise Terminal 10 complex, home to Royal Caribbean ships, was designed with on-site cruise parking, which cuts down on traffic on Harborside Drive, a busy 5-mile stretch of road that connects the port to Interstate 45. On-site parking enables cruisers to drop off their luggage, then park nearby. That is not the case currently at 25 and 28, where mainly off-site lots are available. That means that cruise guests make 2 trips along Harborside Drive, first to drop off luggage, and then again to drive to the parking lot, where they wait for a shuttle to return them to the terminal. Now, it doesn't specify in here what handicapped folks do. If they have a place closer for handicapped folks at 25 and 28. Nor does it specify if the shuttles from 25 and 28 back to the ship are wheelchair accessible. Those are a couple things that I need to find out. Under the new plan, the port will expand its Park and Walk Express lot, located adjacent to Terminals 25 and 28, allowing more guests to park on site. The new Cruise Terminal 16 will have 2 on-site parking lots, one in a parking garage and another with surface parking. The second change coming to the port addresses the problem of cars lining up to drop off luggage and wait to enter the parking lots for 25 and 28. At Cruise Terminal 10, multiple lanes are provided inside the complex for these purposes, preventing traffic backups on Harborside Drive. Going forward, more traffic lanes will be added on the access road to the 2 terminals, and a new traffic flow will be implemented. So it sounds to me like they're heading in the right direction, folks. Clearly, the ship menu has changed drastically. So, and Galveston can handle the biggest ships in the world. So anyway, I sailed out of Galveston twice. And I'm looking forward to going back to Galveston. All right. In light of the recent problems, I guess you could call them, in Haiti, of course, that has led to Royal Caribbean International suspending all of its calls to Labadee. Carnival Cruise Line has been fielding questions from concerned guests about visits to the neighboring port of Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic. Carnival Cruise Line brand ambassador John Heald has addressed the situation, reassuring guests that their visit to Amber Cove are safe and the destination is ready and eager to welcome visitors. I am writing this about Haiti because so many of you are asking me if this will affect the calls in the Dominican Republic, specifically Amber Cove, Heald explained. The answer is no. Our ports of call in the Dominican Republic are located significant distance from the border with Haiti. Carnival Cruise Line visits not only Amber Cove, which is probably my favorite port in the Caribbean, but also occasionally La Romana. Like Labadee, Amber Cove is located on the northern coast of Hispaniola, but across the border in the Dominican Republic rather than in Haiti. And it's some 225 miles away, which is 8.5 to 9 hours of driving. Yeah, that's what they say. You know, they say, well, you know, these convicts that escaped, they're not going to cross the border. They got to go through the gate and everything. Hell no, they don't. Do you think convicts are going to do everything the way it's supposed to be done? Yeah, no. They just walk down the road a half a mile and cross over and be in, you know, in the Dominican Republic in a heartbeat if they wanted to. And then if they get on all the way over to Amber Cove, I've never looked at the security on the backside of Amber Cove. But, you know, I would think as long as there are not any problems in Dominican Republic, then Carnival's probably pretty safe with what John said. I would still go to Amber Cove. And like I've said earlier in the week, I'm not so sure I'd go to Labadee right now. All right. A rather tragic story. Somewhat confusing. A tragic incident unfolded aboard Margaritaville Paradise cruise ship bound for the Bahamas, where a deceased woman was discovered inside a cabin alongside suspected cocaine by law enforcement officials. The Royal Bahamas Police Force reported that the deceased, a 27-year-old woman from Florida, was found unresponsive on Monday, despite efforts by the ship's medical personnel to resuscitate her. She was declared deceased. Following the discovery, a 32-year-old man, also from Florida, was apprehended in connection with the case, and a quantity of suspected cocaine was seized from the cabin. However, authorities have not disclosed the relationship between the suspect and the deceased, nor have they revealed their identities. An investigation into the incident is currently underway in Grand Bahamas Island, with plans for an autopsy to ascertain the precise cause of death. Yeah, I can understand where that would be a necessity in this case, folks. I mean, did the guy that she's with whack her? Was it an overdose? There's all kinds of possibilities. So I guess they got to get their ducks in a row before they let anybody know. The sad thing is, a very young lady passed away in that part. I'm sorry to hear. All right. That wraps up the news portion of the show for this week. Let's go see who's fussing at me over in the chat room. All right, let's see. I've gotten down to Gary, Cindy, Hodder, Tom, Roger. Nikki, did you get your money back from that celebrity cruise? There's Laura. Laura in Ottawa. Roger says, we take a taxi to the excursion. Hotels says we have no record of your reservation. Oh, wow. I was thinking if you booked through a travel agent, they scammed you. Emily's with us. Hello, gang. Katie's here. Kenneth's here. Sonny's with us down in Mississippi. Bob's with us this morning from Tennessee. Not too far away. Rainy here in Mississippi, too. Yeah, we're supposed to get some. Maybe not as severe as some of you guys had it last night. But, yeah, we're supposed to get some this afternoon. I was sort of planning on a day trip tomorrow, since I don't have a show unless something major happens. I was going to go out and get gas, so I can just, jump up and ride the scooter out, load the scooter, and jump in the car and take off. That was my plan for tomorrow, but I got to play the weather game now. I'm not going to do this in the rain. I want decent weather for filming purposes and for me riding around, you know, playing tourist. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I will have to come back later and watch the show again. I just got up. I'm heading out the door in an hour, says Emily, going to a hibachi restaurant for lunch with a couple of my lady friends. Very nice. Roger says we met some Americans at the hotel and asked them if celebrity has abandoned them. Two barbers from North Carolina and a couple NCL says yes, they argued after a 14-hour flight and gave up. Emily says, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Have fun, Em. Hibachi is good. I agree. What happened then, Roger? Everybody wants to keep up with Roger's story that he started yesterday. I called my travel agent and she says, what, and what? She was going to drop everything and called the rep. There's Eddie. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. Hey, Eddie. I want your opinion on something, Eddie. I know you go live at 9 o'clock. What's your feelings about doing early morning shows as opposed to 11 o'clock shows like I do? I've thought about going earlier. I haven't made any decisions yet. Appreciate your opinion on that. Roger says, we walked back to the hotel and they said everything was resolved and all 12 abandoned souls would be reimbursed at some time on the ship. Wow. Did you find hotel rooms elsewhere? We got a room and the others. The excursion company let us on the tours even though they had no record of us. Wow, what a story. Yes, Chillie. Says Eddie, we sailed out of 28th this post January. There are ramps everywhere and at least one of the shuttle is handicap accessible. Easiest boarding and disembarking. Awesome. Roger says we got on the ship even though Celebrity told us they had no record of our bookings when we arrived. Good heavens. There's Mike on the other side of the pond. Good morning, Mike. Kind of the excursion company, Sonny says. Great publicity from them. Do you know the name of the excursion company? I'll put it on my list. After 2 days on Celebrity, we were summoned to a couch outside the future cruise desk, and we were given an amount. I was dissatisfied, but she had no explanations why this happened. Wow. My last official day on spring break, Katie says. Somebody messed up big time. Yeah. There's Todd. Good morning, Todd. Says good morning to everybody. There's Steve. Steve says, hey, everybody, too. I do the AM show because my wife wakes me up when she gets up and there are people hanging outside, so I just go on and we just wing it. All right. That's good. All right, so Roger's going back to Celebrity to try him again after that total screw-up mess. Hopefully, maybe Monday, I'm going to have a guest on for an incident that I found out about this morning, and I blew the top of my head off. So it's one that I need to share with you guys. I'm not going to talk about the people involved yet until they decide that they want to go public with it, but I'll do what I have to do. 7:15 a.m. Till 8 in the morning. Quickie. Okay. Roger says we put it in the rearview mirror. and enjoyed the cruise. You have to do that. Oh, I'm glad you're going on Celebrity again because, Celebrity's awfully good. And you get very little complaints about Celebrity. So, but then, I like all cruises. So, but I haven't had an incident like that happen before. All right, guys. That's going to wrap me up for the weekend. Hopefully we'll have a guest or two on Monday. And hopefully I'll get out on a little day trip tomorrow if the weather cooperates. So, again, thank you all for being with me. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and the bell notification will tell you when I go live or when a new video is up. Begin some videos up this weekend. I've fallen behind a little with a lot of extra things that I've been doing this week. So at any rate, folks, thanks for being here. By the way, we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the second Tuesday of next week. That's the goal. All right, guys. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. And hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas, whether it's going to Alaska or going to Canada and New England or going to Europe or just going to in the Caribbean. Hopefully we'll all get together on the high seas soon. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'm probably going to see you at some point this weekend. Just stay tuned. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being here. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.